not even from early childhood, it is even earlier. Is this test, ELISA test, homogeneous or heterogeneous? Heterogeneous. What is the synonym for heterogeneous test? Not so. What is the synonym? Equivalent to what? People, solid phase, let's say. So who remembers homogeneous test? It means where ELISA test is done in volume, in liquid phase. Simply something in tube. Here it is, we have to get to take any solid phase because ELISA enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Something should be absorbed upon solid phase. That's why heterogeneous assay, but usually we speak about like sorbent or solid phase test. Okay, which kind of solid phase do we use? Multi-well polystyrene plate or any other plastic plate. So that's why here it is the bottom of the well, of this one of wells, and we are looking for antibodies. What should we observe from the bottom of the well? We are looking for, oh sorry, I said antigens we are looking for. Antibodies. Usually, by the way, nowadays, as I said, biotechnological achievements become less and less expensive, so usually they use monoclonal antibodies, but they might be even polyclonal are more cheap, but less little bit specific. Okay, antibodies alone. Then we placed material specimen taken from patient, rectal swab sample extraction from stool and so on. If rotaviruses, why not round shaped are present, they become bound, making complex. So people, now it's like I indicated at the beginning. Which reagent should be added next? Now we have layer of antibodies attached. By the way, attachment is done not usually chemical binding, but more specific physical chemical absorption. And antigen is in position of immune complex. No? Antiserum all the time produced against what? What will be target for it? So people, here everything should be imaginated a little bit mechanically. Like bottom layer antibodies, upper layer antigen. What to add next? Again the same antibody specificity. Usually only use antibodies of another species. No, let's imagine polyclonal. This is murine, for example. This will be rabbit antibody. By the way, who remembers the name of this complex antibody? Sandwich immunoassay. Who remembers? Yeah, this is typical sandwich immunoassay. And so I think everyone understands that if possible to create sandwich assay, the antigen should be enough large. Its area should be enough to attach both antibodies to it. No virus is a really large particle. So that's why. Okay, people, still this moment and even this moment, the complex still invisible. What will be the next reagent? This is murine, this is antigen, this is rabbit antibodies. Anti-what? Antigen has no place for binding. All antibody active site paratopes are engaged in binding.
Antibodies for the antibody.
Definitely so. Anti-rabbit antibodies, moreover, they will be not simply antibody, but so-called conjugate, coupled with enzyme like horseradish peroxidase. So that's why we add anti-rabbit antibodies is labeled as enzyme. Enzyme will be, as I said, peroxidase. So I think everyone understands all the steps, all the incubations are followed by washing to eliminate non-specific binding, because binding might be here everywhere. Okay, so here it is. Some auxiliary question. How to prepare anti-rabbit antibodies? Okay, I will formulate, so by the way, the question we discuss is solely from practical skills exam, like one by one, identical to. So the question, how to prepare any antibodies or immune serum? What is the process? Someone should pronounce keyword. Every antibodies is produced by immunization. So that's why we have to immunize whom with what? Anti-rabbit antibody should be get. We have to, for example, why not horse with what? Which was with rabbit immunoglobulin fraction, or simply speaking, rabbit antibodies. So that's why people, we have to take rabbit fraction of antibodies and inject into other animal species. By the way, in reality nowadays, everything of that is done by making monoclonal antibodies. All of them might be murine, but it is like very thin details. This is will be first kind of murine antibodies, the second kind anti-murine antibodies, and so on, doesn't matter. But better to remember polyclonal will be the same principle and so on. Murine, rabbit, anti-rabbit coupled with enzyme peroxidase. What is the substrate for peroxidase? Hydrogen peroxide. What will be the result or product of hydrolysis? Water and oxygen. So people, how can we detect the activity of peroxidase? By bubbles. 21st century we indicated reaction by bubbling. Okay, no, by the way, microbiology possible, in high immunochemistry not. People, by the way, maybe I said, maybe didn't indicate that in reality peroxidase is two substrate reaction and electrons are dropped from hydroxyl radicals and so on into some substance that will absorb them. It's usually colorimetric dye. By the way, for peroxidase, due to the very high use of peroxidase in ELISA test, we have now, I think, dozens of indicators. No, in the book, traditionally give you this one, orthophenylenediamine, OPD. OPD. By the way, it's very nice, it has only one problem, it's carcinogenic. And nowadays we use tetramethylbenzidine, TMB. It's non-carcinogenic and gives also excellent results according to the next detection. By the way, people, so all the time I am like astonished from some like facts like this one. Diaminobenzidine is carcinogenic, tetraminobenzidine not carcinogenic. Single change and you will get totally opposite result. All the time I was like surprised in this manner. Left rotating isomer does this thing, right rotating this does something very small difference between molecules, but it has dramatic changes. By the way, if I began to speak about that, so if you remember like hormones, and estrogen, testosterone give totally different results, by the way, on the body level, but several hydroxyls are only different. So that's why minor in chemical differences, but we see dramatically another change. So that's why. And we see change of color, right? In case of reaction is terminated by sulfuric acids, and in case of OPD it will be brown color, in TMB it will be yellow, starting from blue transforming into yellow. The question, also my standard question. Which physical characteristic is the change of color equivalent to? We see color more, colorless. It means optical density. Yeah. Where do we measure optical density? Colorimeter, photoelectric colorimeter, or here it is known as multi-channel reader. So that's why, okay. No gentleman will write, take a piece of paper and pen, and everyone follows me. We will measure. Shook a little bit, maybe some drops appeared. So people, had you maybe practical skills in hygiene or today or not? Monday. And maybe control in internal diseases?
Today, this morning.
Okay. My conclusion, you are capable of preparing. Some groups say they so fond of therapy that they can't study microbiology at all. I understood. Okay. Now, so people, I think, who please provide him space. So, write down A11, A12 positive controls, B11, B12 negative controls. A11, A12 positive plus, B11, B12 minus. Okay? So, B11, B12 minus. So people, again, I think you see more brown, more amount of converted substrates, more pale means negative test or minimal activity. So that's why we put that into cuvette compartment, and I remember the wavelengths, and that's why, okay, removing the bottom line of bottom lines, and okay, need some time for heating of lamp.
Doctor, are we using this machine?
Yes, no. So people, so okay, the time it measures some like secrets of practical skills. I will tell about them during consultation. But people, unfortunately, for our common good, we have no great time during our practical exam. So many students, so poorly they working, and so they stretch this time a lot. So honestly speaking, we even don't, your task will be only to describe the principle of ELISA test and to find positive results, negative results without measurement. Why? Because really, I think last person will be asked last 15 minutes of the class, in my opinion. So this is one thing. Second thing, people, we even don't ask you, despite sometimes we try to scare you with these things, but we even don't ask you to put your prepared slide into microscope and to recognize what are the microbes here. For Russian students, we do this. For your English medium speaking, like we tried once upon a time, it was total loss of everything, loss of time, loss of mark, by the way, sometimes damage, fortunately no damage of objective lens, but damage of slides broken and so on. So that's why finally we reduce this practice for unknown reasons. That's why only your task will be to prepare a slide and then to explain orally what can you see there. Okay, no some way. The same concerns this thing. Okay, look. So A11, A12, 0.907 and 12, 0.912. Negative controls B11, B12, 0.326 and 0.357. Okay, all the rest looks from the left side. So positive wells, A3, A4, A3, 0.897 and A4, 0.797. So B1, B2, B1, 0.874, B2, 0.850. And finally, looking like D5, D6, D5, 0.912. And last one, 0.918. Okay, all the rest is in the range 0.3, 0.2. No, in reality it's negative. Okay, go to class and rewrite these results.